Tom.
Welcome to a brand new week. It's actually Wednesday right now. Last couple days haven't been all that great. First off, Manatee still got his warts, his contagious warts that I can't do anything about. So, working at that. I scraped the rear passenger side of my car as I was pulling it into the garage. So I gotta get that repainted. And top that all off, yesterday when I was trying to do all the VR stuff, I was just having issue after issue after issue after issue with it, and that really got me down. But I did have the Run Guys Coliseum bonus stream, and that was a lot of fun. Always good to hang out with John, Steven, Jared, and Dan. That was quite a bit of fun. We actually had two podcast instances. The first of which was the usual Game Boy Player disc only one, but the other one was the Netflix disc, which is exactly what it describes. It's a disc that you use in order to be able to open the Netflix app on the Wii and connect to the internet. Unfortunately, the Wii doesn't have internet, so we just stayed on the Netflix logo the whole time and just talked like it was a podcast. That was a lot of fun though. We did a lot of neat things there. Played more Egg, which is a very difficult game from what I saw. We also played the craziest game that I've ever seen. I forgot what it was called. I'll put it on the bottom of the screen here. But the story goes that there was a cowboy in the West who was attacked by ninjas and got this giant X-face scar across his face. In order to get revenge on them, he went to Japan, or what essentially is the equivalent to Japan in this game, and trained in the way of the sword as well. So he uses a revolver with this really long barrel and a sword, and he's just and it's just crazy over the top. It actually kind of reminds me of God Hand a little bit, at least in terms of the setting. But my God, that was insane. Loved every second of that game, except for the fact that it was a janky PS1 action game. So it is what it is. Today, there was some news coming from Twitch. Well, that didn't come from Twitch. It's an alleged rumor, and the changes might take place in the summer. And that might affect my income a bit, at least from subs. I don't want to go into details on it because really discussing it does breach the non-disclosure I have with Twitch. But yeah. So waking up to that was not great. But we had session 0 of the D&D campaign I'm doing with Brett, which is the March on Feywonder. Brett's D&D world, his D&D world of IO. This is the first foray into what is essentially the I forgot what the name of the base Fey dimension is in D&D. But this is essentially his world's version of it, and we're starting off with that. I got to reveal my character, which is I don't know if I mentioned on the vlog, but I had a dream where I played a D&D character that was a skeleton chef named Ribeye, and I made him. I made Ribeye. I have no idea what kind of voice I want to give him. Everybody wants the Skeletor voice, and it just seems like too obvious a choice for him. My initial I don't know, Skeletor voice, yes, that could be great. That could get grating really easily though. So I'm a big I don't know if I should accentuate my hamminess in terms of how much I overact in certain ways, or if I should sort of bring it back, and because I wanted to give him a gravelier voice. How would somebody without vocal cords speak? And my conclusion was to come to this would be how he spoke. But everybody wants the Skeletor voice. Everybody wants him to be Papyrus, except I'd actually be good at cooking. I don't know what kind of personality I'd give him, but it would honestly depend at the end there. But that was fun. That was a real pick me up as well. Got to talk with a bunch of people. Got to the party, Brett's DMing, and our party consists of Sherlock Holmes, who is another DM. I believe he's the DM for High Rollers. I'll have to take a look at it. I don't know if he's still doing it or not. I honestly don't know much about the rest of the crew here except for the people I've already played with. And then there's Sci-Fry. I've played with him. He's a DM as well. And then there's Cooley Smiley, who is a streamer and also an actor. And then there is Kelly Siren, who is a singer as well. So those very very interesting party we got. Very interesting players we have here from all different walks of creative life here, as well as trying to think as well. Our characters that we're coming up with so far are looking very interesting as well. Sherlock is playing a bunny girl who's a fighter and a wizard. Kelly's playing a Southern Belle, like a gothic Southern Belle vampire. Cooley is playing a vampire hunter. Sci-Fi is playing a monk, a changeling monk, and I'm playing Ribeye. So a very interesting dynamic we're going to have here. And I still got to come up with a backstory and, my reasoning for wanting to adventure or what brings me into like the adventuring fold there. So, we'll see. We will definitely see. But anyway, in terms of the rest of the day, I still have to edit last week's vlog and compile clips of last week's highlights. So hopefully that'll be, all well and good. And we can get that well done and over with, and have everything ready and squared away. I had to re-record the Oblivion stuff I did before. I recorded 7 episodes of Oblivion. I've re-recorded 5 of them, but I had to re-record them because the way I record them through OBS, you can set it so each of the audio sources is separated into different tracks. But when I was setting up the recording for OBS, I forgot to do that, so they were all on one track, which is a nightmare to edit. So I re-recorded a bunch of Oblivion, and I still want to get the rest of those done. I have one quest that's going to take me for freaking ever to get through, because it's going to require me to just wait in the overworld, search a bunch of chests, and if I get one or none of the things that I need, then to wait in the overworld for 3 days somewhere else, and then come back, and hopefully the stuff that I want will be there. It is not going to be fun. But I'm planning on 100%ing all the quests, and we'll see. He's at the window there, looking to be let in. I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but I bought him a hose, and I must have mentioned that last week because I've had it for longer than the last vlog ended. But he loves playing with that hose. His 2 favorite things to play with are essentially cleaning implements. The vacuum and the hose. If I go to let him in, he's going to run away from the door. There he goes. It's because he wants to play with that hose. I think I'll play with the hose with him for a little bit, and we'll see what the rest of the week brings. It is, what day is it today? It is Thursday. Yesterday I made the conscious decision to make cookies, and I did so on a stream. They turned out really well. The recipe I used this time used less salt, and I think that was better for it because the last cookies I made were rather salty. And the way I streamed it, hi bud. You're gonna run away from the door the second I go to unlock it. Yep. Oh man, he is just like other Sharpays that I've owned in that regard, where he'll just be like, hey, I'm coming to the door, and I'm like, oh, does that mean you want to come in? And he's like, nah. But anyway, the way I streamed this was, I got a new toy now. It is a grip for my phone. So I'm using the same handle. I'm using the same handle that I used when I used the 4K camera. But this is a MagSafe grip that goes on my phone. Steven uses it as well, so... and I actually ordered it like immediately after Coliseum, but they were on back order. So I was like, so I got, and for the longest time I was wondering when it was going to show up, but then it was like a month had passed, and I messaged them like, hey, when is this going to get here? And they're like, oh, we're going to start shipping them out in May. And then they probably realized that my order wasn't filled and probably actually already had them. And I got it like the notification for it being shipped out came like a day later. So I think that was them kind of being like, "Argh." Anyway, so the other day when I was talking about the fact that I scuffed the back of my car, I was checking the scratch more closely, and it did get down to like the metal of the I don't know if you call it the frame, the body. Let's call it the body. The scratch does get down to the metal of the body in certain places, and a while back somebody hit my car with their door, so I bought some this like paint repair stuff, and it's not really. I mean, it shows it on there as it being like, hey, it'll just merge the paint together and whatnot. But really, I think all it really is a sealant. So, you know, I just put that on there, and we'll see how well it holds up while I wait for the appointment I have to have those scratches on the car fixed, just like repainted over and whatnot. So we'll see. Apparently, a lot of people are getting into collisions around here because all those places that like do like paint repair and whatnot, they're backed up for like a month, and it's ridiculous. And like, you know, Tesla has like some service areas, but most of them are just for like the software side of things. And when I went to go to one of their collision centers, they were backed up for 2 months. So it's a whole thing. It's just been a whole ordeal. Today I should have gone to the gym, but I decided to take some time off just to kind of recover from the shin splints. I don't know if I mentioned those on vlog, but for the my calves and like my shins like consistently would hurt when I'd run on the treadmill, and it's because I wasn't letting what was happening recover properly. So I'm gonna take some time off from like running on the treadmill. Took him for a walk. And I swear to God, if I go to open the door and you run away again, I'm not going to be pleased. There he goes. Every single time. You gonna come inside? Yeah, I unlock the door and then he goes further away. And then he comes back. Then I go for the handle. And I open the door and he runs away. It's because he wants to play with the hose. Come here, bud. Manatee, come here. Little ding dong. Anyway, so yeah. Aside from like all the car stuff, things are going well. And you're back at the door again, huh? Aside from the car stuff, things are going well. He is such a little jerk. I think his papillomas seem to be doing better. The big one that I was concerned about is shrinking. The small ones seem to have gotten bigger, but they also seem like they're they also look like they're I don't know. They don't look like they're going to last long, if that makes sense. I don't know how to describe them aside from that. Like maybe they're cauliflowering or whatever the term is. So yeah. Anyway, I've got to stream Mario Kart later tonight with like Chilled and MG4R. I'm just going to call him Greg for that sake. A bunch of other people. So that should be fun. I haven't played Mario Kart with them in a long time. With Chilled and all them. So again, should be fun. It is Sunday, and boy did I wake up late. Oh man, I was also up very late. I set myself up for the long haul on a quest in Oblivion. The Shivering Isles is called the Museum of Oddities, and there are 6 or 7 things on the list for the Museum of Oddities quest that just spawn at complete random. There's actually, if you're playing base Oblivion without the unofficial Oblivion patch, there's a chance that you'll be locked out of one of the items for the Museum of Oddities because it only spawns in containers that don't regenerate. It only spawns in containers that don't respawn after a certain period of time. So I'm working at that. I have one more. I've got 2 more of the random ones left. And at the very least, like that, the one that's still in the random container, in any random container, is causing me no end of suffering here. And the one that is supposed to be in the in like the non-responding container I haven't even started trying for yet. So that's gonna be fun. I'm not looking forward to that. So it's 5 p.m. right now. I'm going to come back to this vlog whenever I finish those quests. Last night I recorded for probably around 3 hours trying to find those, and I still have 2 of those things remaining. So we'll see how that goes. I also kind of put a bet with myself. There's another quest in this game where you have to bring 100 calipers and tongs, any combination of 100 calipers and tongs to a guy, and that's the entire quest. I had a bet with myself. I have an ongoing bet with myself to see what am I going to get first. 100 calipers and tongs or all of the oddities. And right now it's looking heavily in the favors of the calipers and tongs. So we'll see. It is significantly later. Hey bud. Manatee, what you doing? Just gave him a couple treats. We're about to head to bed. It's like 3 in the morning. 3 in the morning, by the way, of which I did not spend the entire time looking for those oddities in Oblivion. Took me about 2 hours to get both the oddities I was missing, the Houndtooth key and the amber shaped like Sheogorath's face. So yeah. Managed to get those pretty quick, and then recorded some more Oblivion because I was like, hey, I'm on a roll. Had some Chipotle for lunch. Took him for a walk. I took a break after I got the Houndtooth key and took him for a walk. And one thing that's really exciting about something going on with him is that the little dugong, Manatee, hi, his papillomas are starting to die. There's like, I'm gonna get into a little bit of some graphic detail here. So timestamp right here for when we're gonna be done talking about this. Basically, when they're like fully grown, they kind of hit this state where they're no longer like these smooth balls. They get kind of like lumpy. They look kind of like cauliflower, hence the term when they like cauliflower. From there, they can evolve further to kind of look like sea anemones. And usually when they get to that point is around the time when like the immune system is kicked in. They're like really fighting back again. Usually like with the cauliflower stage is when it's like they've kind of like sunk their roots in and they're like, they're there to stay. The part where they start getting kind of tendrily is when they're kind of like at the stage when they're going to fall out. On top of that, if you look at some of them, you can kind of like, you can lift them up and you can see where they were attached to like his soft tissue there. So yeah, that's really good. They're starting to come out. I give it like maybe like another 2 weeks tops before they're all out of his mouth. And I'm very excited about that. Also, I finished off all the cookies. Don't look at me like that. You know you would have done the same. I just really want a cookie, so I baked some more. Although I have gained 2 pounds since the last time I weighed myself, so maybe not going to be baking again in the near future. Still want to make that cake though. I think next time I like whenever I have like friend gatherings coming up is when I'll get to baking, just because I want to. Might stream it again too because that was a lot of fun doing the stream, baking the Hershey chocolate chip cookies there. With pecans. Oh, did you hear a noise, buddy? Was it this? No? Nothing? Oh, he's a good boy. We woke up really late today. I went to bed fairly early. I had a weird dream last night. Like I was on this gigantic, when I say gigantic, I mean like maybe the size of like a state arc. And it was just like massive. It was like the entire thing was like bronze color. I have no idea who owned it, and like when I say arc, I'm more like in like a spacefaring sort of like technological way, not like Noah's Ark. But this thing was just like massive, and like there was like a panic because whoever was in charge of it, I think it must have been some kind of war machine or something, because like the person in charge of it was planning to do something that was not good for either the people on board or the people who weren't on board. One of the two. Either way, there was something bad going on. I just remember feeling panicked the entire dream, and desperately like running back and forth on the deck of this, despite the fact that wasn't going to get me anywhere because this thing was just that big. It was huge. And let me tell you something. Even though it was just in my imagination and it was just like a dream, I still for some reason have like a vivid memory of like this gigantic like orange, like almost, I wouldn't say it's rusted, more like bronze, like a bright or like coloring looked rusted, but I'd say it was more like it was probably a bronze than like a rusted iron. But just seeing that in like this massive like landscape, like just the entire landscape being like this orange color and looking just like flat and like very angular, very, very inorganic. That's kind of a terrifying feeling. I miss grass too much. For some reason, I don't mind it as much in places like New York City. Cause like, you know, aside from like maybe a few trees, unless you're in Central Park, everything is like concrete, stone, and metal. I guess maybe it's because I'm used to it. Also because most of this dream took place at night. So just having the blackened sky with like the ground being just orange was pretty terrifying. It's very unfamiliar. I don't know if it was also like if I've developed a fear of a field of like metallic orange just stretched across like the entirety of like a plane or something like that. If that's a fear developed from the fact that in and of itself is scary, or if just the situation of the dream makes me associate that with fear. Either way, that was one hell of a nightmare. And because of that, I ended up waking up super late. I think I was in the middle of a REM cycle when I woke up because I felt like crap. And I slept for like 11 hours. It was... Ugh. So I guess that's to say I slept very well, but I didn't wake up very well. Anyway, I think he is about ready to go to bed. He's like giving me the side eye every time I talk. You ready for bed, bud? You a good boy? I think we're gonna go to bed. See you all next week. Wait a minute, we've got patrons scrolling across the screen here. It's the first vlog of the month. Keep forgetting about that sometimes. Yes, if you want to support me on Patreon, you know, $1 a month is what I call the guilt-free ad block tier. So just like, even just like $1 to Patreon is enough to completely like dissuade, at least on my channel, completely dissuade the usage of ad block. So you're still like supporting me $1 a month and, you know, watch all the videos you want with ad block on my channel guilt-free. Anyway, $5 a month gets your name scrolling across the screen like this. $10 a month gets you into a monthly movie night. Last month we watched Batman Beyond the Return of the Joker. Somebody suggested Princess Bride for this month, so I might take that into consideration. See what streaming services is available on and if I've got to purchase that. And on top of that, and $20 a month gets you access to the behind the scenes Discord channel where I actively talk about things that are going on, including new merch ideas, changes I plan on making to the channel, and really just get like the input of people with that level of like patronage. At any rate, though, all of these, the behind the scenes and the movie night also apply to tier 2 and tier 3 subs on Twitch. The name scroll does not apply to tier 1 subs because otherwise this scroll would be going a lot faster and there'd be a lot more names. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me. Now he just wants to go outside. But we're going to bed because he just went outside. See you all next week. Later.